Hi everybody, this is Judy at Judy in the Kitchen. Today we're continuing our summary of Dr. Michael Greger's book, How Not to Die. This book is fabulous and I highly do recommend it. Today we're covering chapters 13 and 14, and as I've stated before, this is in no way a replacement for reading the book. I really recommend that you get it, keep it in your library, read it over and over again because it has so much valuable information in there. There's no way to replace it. Anyway, getting into chapter 13, How Not to Die from Prostate Cancer. Autopsy studies have shown that about half of men over the age of 80 have prostate cancer. Most die with the cancer without ever knowing that they even have it. But unfortunately, nearly 28,000 other men die each year from prostate cancer. So, what can you do to avoid dying from prostate cancer? First of all, what not to do. Do not consume animal milk products of any type. Animal milk products are very high in sex steroid hormones like estrogen and growth hormones that the animal naturally produces for their offspring. After all, that milk is intended for baby cows. A lifetime of human exposure to those growth factors in milk may help to explain the connection found between dairy consumption and some cancers. Concerns about a sharp rise in prostate cancer rose since World War II, which coincided with a 7-fold increase in egg consumption, a 9-fold increase in meat consumption, and astoundingly a 20-fold increase in dairy consumption. Researchers specifically tested organic cow's milk on human prostate cancer cells in a petri dish and found that the milk stimulated the growth of cancer cells in each of 14 separate experiments. They also tested almond milk and found that almond milk actually suppressed the growth rate of cancer cells by over 30%. So guys, if you really want to reduce your risk of prostate cancer, try avoiding animal milk and switch to a plant-based milk instead. Next point on what not to do. Do not eat eggs. Harvard University researchers studied over 1,000 men with early-stage prostate cancer for several years. They found that those who ate eggs, even less than 1 egg a day on average, had twice the risk of prostate cancer progression, such as metastasizing into their bones, than those who rarely ate eggs. So avoiding eggs and anything made with them would be very wise for any man with prostate cancer and also for those who want to avoid it. Next point, do not eat poultry. The same Harvard University researchers that studied eggs also found that poultry meat had an even stronger risk of prostate cancer progression, giving them up to 4 times the risk than those who did not eat poultry. They speculated it was because of the development of carcinogenic compounds that developed during the cooking of the poultry. What to do to avoid prostate cancer or avoid dying from prostate cancer? If you enjoy milk, always choose those made from plant-based milks. We kind of already said this one earlier. Plant-based milks and products made with them like cheese and yogurt do not have the same effect as cow's milk and have actually been shown to suppress the growth of cancer cells. Next point on what to do, follow a whole food plant-based diet. Researchers have tested the blood of people on a whole food plant-based diet compared with those following a Western diet on cancer cells in a petri dish and found that the blood of those on a plant-based diet was dramatically less hospitable to cancer growth. In fact, it was 8 times better at fighting the cancer. Next point, add regular exercise to your routine. The cancer-fighting properties of blood was compared among those who exercise in addition to following a plant-based diet and those exercising while eating their standard diet, and those who did not exercise at all and ate a standard diet. The groups were followed for about 14 to 15 years. The researchers dripped blood samples on human prostate cancer cells in a petri dish. The blood of those who exercised regularly and followed a plant-based diet killed twice the amount of cancer cells than those who exercised while following a standard diet, and about 2,000% more than the sedentary subjects who ate a standard diet. So, combining a plant-based, whole food diet along with regular exercise had the greatest benefit against prostate cancer. Guys, get moving and eat more plants. Next point, add cruciferous vegetables to your diet. If you are willing to make only one change in your life, add cruciferous vegetables to your diet. Less than one serving a day of broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, or kale may cut the risk of cancer progression by over half. Of course, making the other suggested changes in this particular chapter can boost your ability to ward off prostate cancer, but making the one change alone can cut your cancer progression risk significantly. Next point, add flaxseed to your diet. Flax seeds have high amounts of lignans, and those compounds tend to be found in prostate fluids of men with relatively low rates of prostate cancer. Lignans have been shown to slow the growth of prostate cancer cells in a petri dish, and researchers gave 3 tablespoons of flax seeds a day to men scheduled for prostate removal surgery due to cancer in the following month. After surgery, the tumors were examined, and the flax seeds appeared to have lowered cancer cell proliferation rates while simultaneously increasing their rate of cancer cell clearance. Ingestion of 3 tablespoons of flax seeds a day was found to slow and even reverse the development of precancerous lesions of the prostate. Now, it is important for you to know that flax seeds should be eaten when they are pre-ground, okay? Don't expect your chewing to do enough, because when you eat them whole, they're very likely to pass through your entire digestive tract undigested. So you don't want that to happen. Next point. Eat flax seeds while following a whole food plant-based diet to suppress and possibly prevent the growth of cells that cause benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH. BPH affects millions of men, up to half of men by their 50s and 80% of men by their 80s. BPH is characterized by an enlargement of the prostate gland. If it grows too large, the normal flow of urine can be obstructed, as many of you men already know. Stagnant urine held in the bladder can create a breeding ground for infection. Surgery is the standard treatment. This usual consequence of aging can be averted through diet. So a whole food plant-based diet has been found to suppress the abnormal growth of non-cancerous prostate cells. Do take that one seriously. Next point, include garlic, onions, and legumes in the diet. Garlic, onions, and legumes like beans, chickpeas, split peas, and lentils have been associated with a significantly lower risk of BPH in general. Cooked seems to work better than raw. So in this case, don't hesitate to add garlic and onions to your cooked legumes. Chapter 14, How Not to Die from Parkinson's Disease. Parkinson's disease affects the speed, quality, and ease of movement of the body. It's the second most common neurodegenerative disease after Alzheimer's. Symptoms include hand tremors, limb stiffness, impaired balance, and difficulty walking. It can affect your mood, thinking, and even your sleep. The disease is caused by the die-off of specialized nerve cells in the area of the brain that controls movement. A history of head trauma can increase your risk, in addition to exposure to toxic pollutants in the environment and the food supply, and we're all exposed to those factors. What not to do? Avoid animal foods that are high in toxins and pollutants. Researchers have tested various types of foods and found that specific foods are consistently high in certain toxins or pollutants. And in the book, Dr. Greger does give some specifics here, and some examples that he gives are poultry can be high in arsenic. We rarely hear about that. Dairy products can be high in lead. Seafood is high in mercury. Some seafood, like tuna, can be high in arsenic. DDT can be found in meat and fish. And he goes on with even more than that. So I encourage you to get the book and read on, okay? Because there's a lot of toxin in these animal foods, or at least a lot of potential toxins in the animal foods. What to do? To avoid toxins and pollutants, eat low on the food chain, which means whole plant foods, not those that are processed and adulterated in manufacturing plants, but whole plant foods like we find them as they are grown. Since pollutants and toxins tend to accumulate in the fat of animals, eating low on the food chain helps to minimize our exposure to these chemicals. Researchers have estimated that a plant-based diet could cut about 98% of our dioxin intake alone. Next point on what to do: eat more berries. Researchers at Harvard University found that those who eat more berries appear to have a significantly lower risk of developing Parkinson's disease. This effect appears to be due to the flavonoids that are found in berries. Next point, do all you can to avoid head trauma. Since head trauma increases the risk of Parkinson's disease, it's wise to do what you can to avoid head trauma. Wearing seatbelts in vehicles and bicycle helmets, exercising regularly to maintain good balance, avoiding excess weight gain, and avoiding animal products and consuming whole plant foods can all work together to help reduce your risk of developing Parkinson's disease. Well, I do hope this helps you out. Take this book seriously. There's a lot of valuable information in there. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. Take care and bye for now.